Welcome to this snapshot of my life. In this 3-minute video, I'll represent data collected over a work week about how I spend my time. In my personal life, I frequently have people ask me about how I spend my time, and I really can't give them a concrete answer. I've decided to document how I spend my time to see if my current schedule is efficient. I suspect that there are certain times of day that I could spend my time more wisely. I want to find trends in my day-to-day and explore how my actions impact my habit. I collected my data through a Google form, breaking down my life into separate parts: sleep, school, work, consumption, and pleasure. Additional components were added to each part, such as listing what I consumed or what I was doing for pleasure. In the background of this video, you will witness an average day of mine, with 1 hour of time in real life representing 7.5 seconds in the video. So far, you have been watching me sleep for about 6 hours. I averaged a nightly sleep of 7 hours and 27.6 minutes. A study of Delaware college students in 2018 reported an average of 6 hours and 6 minutes of sleep a night, making me on average sleep about an hour and 20 more. About now is usually when I wake up. I begin my day with a shower and brushing my teeth. After that, I check my inbox, play Sudoku, and sip on a Coke. On average, it takes me an hour and 48 minutes from waking up to start school or work. I believe that this is an area of my day I can use my time more wisely. If I cut down my morning routine to just an hour and 15 minutes, I will gain around 4 hours of time weekly. Once I feel woken up, I head to campus to start school. Over a 5-day period, I spent 13.25 hours on schoolwork. This averaged to 2.65 hours a day. On average, I spent 6.5 hours in class and 6.75 hours completing homework. This equates to about 32.5 minutes in class and 34 minutes of homework per credit hour I take. This semester, I began an internship working for MCFRS, making videos to post online to help their recruiting efforts. Once a week, I go into their Gaithersburg offices and spend the afternoon recording footage. I then edit the gathered footage at home. I spent an average of 3.2 hours daily working. The longest I spent was 9 hours, which was the day I went into the office. The other 7 hours worked this week were spent editing videos. Something interesting to note are my eating habits. I ate at 1 p.m. on Monday and Friday and at 11 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday. This makes sense as it ties directly into my class schedule. Additionally, I found it interesting that most of my eating logs were predicated by work and followed by pleasure. I spent nearly 45 hours over 5 days on pleasurable activities. Playing basketball, video games, and hanging out with friends were the main ways I spent time. On average, I spent nearly 9 hours a day on these activities, with the average end of my day happening at about 3:58 p.m. This is a lot of time spent doing nothing. If I could restrict myself to 7.5 hours a day of pleasure, I would gain 10.5 hours a week. As my day in this video comes to an end, I wanted to know, did my sleep impact my performance over the 5 days? First, I tried to check which day I logged the least amount of different tasks in. This ended up being on 225, but this was because that was the day I went into the office for my internship. I also forgot to eat until very late that day. Unsatisfied, I decided to create a formula to rank my days on efficiency. Efficiency is hours working, time studying, minus 1/2 pleasure, divided by time spent sleeping. This gave me my highest score on Wednesday and lowest on Thursday. Additionally, Friday came out to be exactly 0, which I found interesting. My biggest takeaway from this project is just how much time I waste in a week. If I were able to speed up my morning and work longer each day, I would gain over a half a day of efficient time per week. If I was to do this project again, I would have created a way to log my activities using pen and paper, as I often forgot to log a task right as it happened. My data for certain events may have been skewed because of this. That being said, I believe that the data represents my time well enough to gather information from. Additionally, I am proud of the graphical representations I created, but I wish I had more time spent on them. If I had more time, I would have been able to integrate the visual and graphical elements together to make a better story.